Hi, Texas readers. My name is Jasmine Warga, and I am the author of A Rover Story. And I am beyond thrilled that A Rover Story is on the Bluebonnet list this year. And I'm very excited to answer some of the awesome questions that you came up with about A Rover Story. Yeah, my favorite thing about Rez is his capacity to learn new things and his ultimate embrace of this thing that makes him different, right? That at the start of the book, he isn't quite sure about his interior emotions. And as the book goes on, he begins to realize that he really is feeling lots of these deep emotions. And at first, that really worries him, right? He thinks that makes him different from the other robots around him and worries that it potentially makes him a bad robot. But by the end, he sort of comes to learn, right, that this thing that he thought made him different or weird is actually kind of a superpower for him. And I love that about him. Me, the most difficult part of writing a Rover story was sort of mixing the real life science with the fiction part of the book, right? So all of you know that a Rover story is based off of NASA's actual Mars rover program, right? That the scientists at NASA are actually designing these super intelligent robots that we're sending to Mars to explore. And so much of what's in the book is really real. And I had to balance, right, not overloading it with facts about the rover program, but having enough facts about the rover program that it would feel real to you and feel interesting. And in part, I guess this is related to that challenge. It took me a long time to figure out the character of resilience because I'm a really character-driven writer. So the book doesn't come alive for me until I really understand my main character. And so that was a big part of A Rover Story, was doing enough research and brainstorming to sort of figure out who resilience was going to be and then cracking the story open from there. For me, the characters always come first. So I guess with a book like this, when I decided that I was going to write a book about a Mars rover, I sort of already understood the basics of the plot, right? I was going to have a rover and he was going to be built and created in the NASA lab, and then he was going to journey to Mars. But this idea of what did he want? What was he going to learn? What challenges was he going to face? I had no idea. And for me, I always figure out the answers to those questions once I figure out my character. So I started actually by watching the launch of the Mars rover, and that's before I knew I was going to write a book about a Mars rover, but that was sort of my first moment of inspiration, which was kind of also research. And from there, I went to NASA's website, and if you haven't been to NASA's website yet, I super recommend that you check it out because they have so much information, cool stuff about the rover program. And you can watch videos that the actual rover has taken on Mars. You can listen to the rover's recordings on Mars. And you can also watch videos of the rover being built in the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And I think all of that is really cool. So I did a lot of research online, but I also used my local library. I checked out a lot of books, nonfiction books about rovers to learn more about the rover program. And one book in particular that was super helpful to me was a book that was written by an engineer who actually worked on the rover Curiosity. And that helps me to understand better what it's actually like to work at that NASA lab and helped me inform some of the personalities of the scientists like Rania and Xander who are in the book. I kind of, all of my advice about writing is really simple, but I think it can actually be the most important things. And the first thing is to read all the time. And since you're watching this video about Bluebonnet books, I'm going to guess that you're a really avid reader as well as a writer. And that's amazing because all of the best writers I know are even better readers. I think we learn how to get better at writing by reading the work of other people and thinking about sort of what made that story work. Why did I feel so invested in that character? Why did I want to turn the page? And I do that now. You know, I'm reading a lot of the other books that are on your Bluebonnet list to try to learn how to become better as a writer myself. And the second thing is to write all the time. Writing is a muscle, and the more that you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And to learn that you are a writer, you're not an aspiring writer. If you write, you're a writer. And I think claiming that identity is really important. And I have to remind myself of that even now as a published author, to remember that the piece that I control is the writing. And so the more that I write, the more that I practice, the better I can get at that. And so I am looking forward to hopefully someday reading a lot of stories that all of you come up with. So thank you again, Texas readers. I'm absolutely thrilled a Rover story is on the Bluebonnet list, and I hope that you enjoy getting to meet Resilience and the other characters in the book. Thank you so much.